Sometimes, what you are most afraid of doing is the very thing that will set you free. And the most courageous act is to think for yourself. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Today's class is about the freedom of our country. I welcome you to the English class to learn some of the glimpses of India. Yes, about our past. And the lesson is glimpses of the past. The lesson gives us a short and precise description of events that took place in our country from the year 1757 to 1857. Yes, it is the history of our country during 1757 to 1857. India was under British rule during this period. Indian princes were dethroned by the British East India Company. Due to this, Indian people led a miserable life during this period in every field, so that many learned men gathered and together the people of India and told them to against the British. This chapter describes the events and circumstances that took place in India during the year 1757 to 1857. When is it starts? It starts with the time when the East India Company was very strong in India. The Indian princes and states were busy fighting with each other. They often sought British help, and thus British took advantage of this to gain power and establish their rule in India. Yes, at the time the British were in a strong position. They had superior arms and also they had more financial resources. On the other hand, Indian states and the princes were short-sighted and they were busy fighting with each other, so that they lacked in unity. The British followed the policy of divide and rule and also subdued the princes. Subdued means quite controlled. The Britishers controlled the princes. Some people favored the British while some did not. Yes, some people favored the British to rule us. What a betrayal! But not all the princes. Some did not. They refused. They did not follow the policy of British. The social conditions were also not in good shape. Social evils such as child marriages, untouchability, sati pratha were prevalent in society. Do you know what is sati pratha? It is a ritual of burning ladies on funeral pyre of their dead husbands. That is sati pratha. This child marriages, untouchability, sati pratha were exist everywhere in the society. Also, the farmers had to pay heavy taxes. This chapter enlists incidents that led to widespread revolts. It known as the First War of Independence. Yes, this chapter provides a glimpse of how the British East India Company expanded its power in India and exploited Indians. How they robbed landlords and farmers of their land. They created situations that led to famines and pushed patriots to launch widespread massacres. Massacres means killing a large number of people. MASSACRES massacres. In this chapter, the first incident we are going to see about the martyrs. Martyr means a person who is killed because of their religious or other beliefs. Now we can see about the martyr of a country. Who is martyr? A person who is killed because of their religious or other beliefs. Martyr is generally associated with those who have died for defending their religious faith. Soldiers are killed in action, defending their motherland or in line of duty. This pictorial glimpse represents a function that took place in Delhi. Lata Mangeshkar can be seen singing "Ye Mere Vadan Ke Lagan." Alongside her, Indira Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri can also be seen. Mehboob Khan organized a fundraiser at the National Stadium, New Delhi, to augment the National Defence Fund. The audience included President S. Radhakrishnan, Prime Minister Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and cabinet ministers. The song applies in equal measure to Jawans of the armed forces and paramilitary forces, who not only fight enemies on the border but within the country too. These Jawans sacrifice their lives and in return desire nothing but dignity and respect. To tribute those martyrs, Lata Mangeshkar sang the song "Ye Mere Vadan Ke Lagan." The company conquest. Conquest means controlling a place or people by military force, like conquering. Which company conquest? East India Company. The year 1757 bears the mark of being an important year in Indian history. Yes, the year 1757 is an important year in Indian history. Yes, the year 1757 was an important year in Indian history. The Company rule, which also known as the Company Raj. It refers to the rule of British East India Company over parts of the Indian subcontinent. This Company rule or Company Raj, it refers to the British East India Company. They ruled over the parts of Indian subcontinent. Have you heard about this company? East India Company. This East India Company created a big revolt in India. The East India Company was a private company owned by stockholders and reporting to the administration in London. This East India Company's administration was in London. It was owned by stockholders and they have reported about this to in the Company of London. London administration. This East India Company was a private company. This company came to India and set up a few factories at different places because at the time Britishers made a dealership with our Indian country. They came to India and began their company on coastal India. And there was no clue what would become a presence of the Indian subcontinent. And there were no clues of why would they begin a large company in this Indian subcontinent. The dealership was upgraded and the company was running in our country. At the time, they slowly began expanding their dominance in India. At the time, they slowly began their dominance in India. They expanded their dominance. Yes, they gradually extending their dominance in India. Can you guess how did they extend their dominance? because they have superior weapons with them. Their weapons were the major reasons to extend their dominance in India. They possessed superior weapons with them in India. The disturbed circumstances was prevailed among the Indian rulers. The disturbed circumstances prevailed among the Indian rulers. So, they took this also one of their advantages to extend their dominance. The first major reason is they have the superior weapons and they took the advantage of disturbed circumstances which prevailed among the Indian rulers. There were no unity among the Indian rulers. This made Britishers to withstand in India strongly. The first major reason is they had the superior weapons. Second one is this disturbed circumstances among the Indian rulers. Actually, the Indian princes were not at peace among themselves. They were not dealt in place due to short-sighted. Short-sighted means lacking of foresight. F-O-R-E-S-I-G-H-T, foresight. Foresight is the ability to predict what will happen in future or to be needed in the future. That is foresight. Actually, it is an ability. Our Indian rulers were lagging in that ability. So, they were saying Indian princes were short-sighted, which means they only considered immediate benefits so that they ignored the long-term consequences. We know what is long-term. Long-term which has continued for a long time. Then what is consequences? It is a result or effort, typically which is unwelcome or unpleasant, which is not pleasantful to us. The result or the effect which is happened after a long time, which is not pleasantful to us. That is long-term consequences. Our Indian rulers need immediate benefits so that they ignore this long-term consequences. Do you know what they did to get the immediate benefits? They took help from the English merchants. Where did they get help? They got help from the English merchants so that they can defeat their rivals. Rivals, R-I-V-A-L-S. Rivals means competitors. They considered our Indian merchants to be their competitors so that they seeked help from the English merchants. They seeked help from the English merchants. This is where the dominance started and the power of Britishers raised. This helped the British East India Company in successfully taking over control from the Indian rulers. British East India Company take over our control from the Indian ruler. British East India Company took over control from the Indian rulers successfully. The British adapted the divide and rule policy. Actually, our Indian policy is university in diversity, but the Britishers' policy was divide and rule. Do you know? Not all the Indian rulers were short-sighted. Among them, one of the ruler of Mysore, Tipu Sultan, who understood their policy and fought against them till his last moments. Yes, the great Tipu Sultan understood their policy, so he fought against the British until his last moments. But the people of India had varied opinions and reactions. Yes, Indians lived with varied opinions and reactions. There were two sets of people lived at that time. The first set of people were very happy. The second set of people were not happy with the Britishers. The first set of people was not only happy, they were grateful to the Britishers also, because they thought peace could finally prevail. Because they supported the Britishers, so they got peaceful life. Instead of against the Britishers, if we supported them, we can live our life happily. It was the thought of first set of people. And also they thought it put an end to war. Not only to the war, to looting the things by thugs. Looting means stealing goods from a place. Looting means stealing goods from a place. Looting. Looting. Do you know thugs? Thugs are a violent persons, especially a criminals. Do you know thugs? Thugs means violent person, especially a criminal. So this looting by thugs also will come to an end if they support the Britishers. They thought they can live peacefully. They could live peacefully. The real secret to success is enthusiasm. Be ready and enthusiastic to learn grammar adjective. The real secret to get success is enthusiasm. Be ready and enthusiastic to learn grammar adjective. People saw what was actually happening. They knew that even if some of the princes were cruel, they were at least of their own land. Now they had realized that they were now slaves of the Englishmen. People saw what was actually happening. They knew that even if some of the princes were cruel, they were at least of their own land. They had realized that they were now slaves of the Englishmen. How did the rivalries help the East India Company? The rivalries helped the East India Company by subdue Indian princes one by one. And tell me, who were short-sighted? Yes, our Indian princes were short-sighted. Who killed our kings? The white man killed our kings. Britishers ruled at the time of 1765 to 1836. Britishers ruled at the time of 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders of India preach ideas like untouchability and child marriage. They preach it like all the misery in the world is due to women. The religious leaders even preached the people who cross the sea will no longer belong to the religion. Like anyone who crossed the sea loses his religion. Yes, anyone who crossed the sea loses his religion. Women were considered the root cause of a lot of problems like poverty and all other miseries. This is the reason why teenage girls were forced to marry, thereby leading to child marriage. Now, it's outlawed in India, but in the earlier days, it was preached by the religious leaders itself. These practices were not only being done, they also promoted to other states. Our own religious leaders taught everyone the idea of untouchability. They were not allowed to come near those who considered themselves superior, not allowed in temples, and the list they have how they were discriminated against and deprived of the basic rights goes on. All these religious preachers were going on. The Britishers started looking down upon Indians and they initiated brainwashing the rulers against them. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect the British scorned them. Scorn means open disrespect. They openly disrespected the Indians. And they also said the natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. They alleged that Indians were not worthy of trust and incapable of honesty. Actually, this was a way of making the native slaves and getting control over them. By saying disrespectful words to them, they controlled the Indians. By saying disrespectful words to them, they controlled the Indians. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. Not only this, the British merchants paid heavy taxes on the poor farmers in greed of immediate profits. As a result of this, the farmers had to give up their lands. If this was not enough to the Britishers, they even threatened the farmers to imprison them if they did not clear their arrears, if they did not clear their taxes. Poor farmers asked them, "Your men are taking all our crops." The Britishers replied, "You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail." Yes, they continuously found ways to exploit the people and earn profits. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profits. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. For example, the goods manufactured in England were being imported to India and no import duty was levied on them. Levied, L-E-V-I-E-D. Levy means L-E-V-Y. Levy means impose a tax, a fee or fine. That is levy. The East India Company's laws began to cripple Indian industries. Cripple means to make something or someone much less effective. Yes, East India Company's laws began to make less effective of Indian industries because the England products was sold at high prices, whereas the Indian products was taken away at much less prices. It increased the poverty and the misery of farmers. Such policies were destroyed the British East India Company Indian industries. Such policies were destroyed the Indian industries. Small businesses and individual artisans were ruined. In especially one that involves making things by hand. They are artisans. Small businessmen and artisans were ruined. This is how the Britishers' ruling period was. We have seen how the workers, farmers, and people were affected in their rule. What ideas did the religious leaders preach? The religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. What did force farmers to abandon their fields? Heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. Yes, what forced them? Heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. How did the Britishers scorn our Indians? Britishers scorned us like natives are incapable of honesty and unworthy of trust. Yes, they blamed us like we are unworthy of trust and incapable of honesty. Now we shall see the Rajaram Mohan Roy contribution to our country in the Britishers' rule. Rajaram Mohan Roy was a well-educated man from Bengal. He was one of the first men to realize that there was something wrong with our country. He believed that our ancient culture was great and the people were destined for greater achievements in India. He said, "Let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture was great." He said, "Let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us." Despise means having low opinion. We should not despise ourselves. We should not have low opinion about ourselves because our ancient culture is very great. He believed that our ancient culture was great and the people were destined for greater achievements. According to him, the first step was to change the society by abandoning the prevailing superstitions. What were those superstitions? Like untouchability, child marriage, and they were told like women's are the major reason for all our miseries. Those all superstitions have to abandon. He believed that superstitions was the root cause of all the problems. Ram Mohan Roy told his wife Uma, "Cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same." And also, different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. While having a conversation with his wife, he said, "Cows may be of different colors, but the color of the milk is same." This means that different teachers might have different opinions, but the essence of the religion is the same. Teachers, he mentioned about the preachers, the way they preach to the people. That may be different, but the major, no religion is teaching superstitions to the people. And also, at that time, he was attracted by science and modern knowledge. He thought knowledge should be practical and scientific. He took keen interest in science and modern knowledge. He believed only the modern knowledge and scientific knowledge can prevent the people from superstitions. He started newspapers, but the suspicious British stopped them in 1823. To rescue the people from these superstitions and to prevail them, he started newspapers, but the Britishers stopped it in the year of 1823. He was inquisitive. Inquisitive means who is more eager to know the real fact. He was inquisitive to know what made the Britishers so powerful. To know this, he crossed the seas and travelled to England. To know this, he crossed the seas and travelled to England. In the British country, he told them, "We accept you as rulers and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects." There, in England, he told to the Britishers, "We as a nation accept you as a ruler, and we accept your rule also." He added that they must accept Indian as subjects and not forget your responsibility and duty towards your subjects. Here, subjects means consider us as a people who was attracted by science and modern knowledge. It was our Ram Mohan Roy. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Why did Ram Mohan Roy go to England? Ram Mohan Roy went to England to see what made the British powerful. Next topic was about the oppression of Indians in the period of 735 to 1835. Yes, those periods were a situation in which people were governed in an unfair and cruel way. Rajaram Mohan Roy was known for his efforts to abolish the practice of sati and child marriage. The British continued to oppress Indians. In 1918, they had passed Regulation 3. Under that act, an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. What an oppression the Indians faced. See, what an oppression Indians faced. The Britishers continued to find new ways to bring misery and suffering to Indians. This Regulation 3 Act was an example. Yes, this Regulation 3 was unfair and they kept an advantage on it. The Britishers kept them an advantage on it, the Regulation 3 in the year of 1818. Under this regulation, an Indian could be jailed without a proper trial in courts. All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. And also, all the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. Yes, they created all sorts of favorable circumstances. Yes, they created all sorts of favorable circumstances. Yes, they created all sorts of favorable circumstances to uplift their officers, to uplift British officers. British officers paid by huge amounts of salaries and also through their private business. By 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth Rs 7 crore to India. The Britishers were exporting goods in huge quantities from Britain. By 1829, they were importing goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. As a result, the Britishers grew richer and richer, leaving the Indian industries high and dry. The British prospered on the company's loot, while Indian industries began to die. In one side, Britishers prospered. They were good, healthy people and got good outcome, which means they were financially successful. On the other side, Indian industries began to die. Governor General Bentinck reported, "The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India." These words highlighted the misery of the traditional cotton weavers in India. You know what is meant by bleaching? Which cause a material to become much lighter by a chemical process. Yes, bleaching can produce unquality products. They produced much cheaper cloth with the help of machines that led the traditional Indian handicrafts to extinction. Extinction means creating the condition of no longer existing. This means that the cotton weavers were forced to stop because of the cotton mills set up by the Britishers. Before, farmers also oppressed, now cotton weavers. How did the British oppress Indians? In 1818, they had passed Regulation 3. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. This is how they started to oppress Indians. Who drew big salaries? British officers in India drew big salaries. 1835 to 56, was a period of dissatisfaction to the Indians. Let's see what were the satisfaction Indians faced. Education in India was in the language of Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. What change he suggested? We should teach the natives through the English language. Yes, he suggested that should be taught in English language. Yes, he suggested that the Indians should be taught in English language. All the teachings were in the form of Persian and Sanskrit. A British officer named Macaulay suggested they all must translate in English so that the education is delivered in their language. What Britishers gained by delivering the teachings in English language? English education produced clerks. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them. Do you know what is clerks? Clerks perform a variety of clerical and administrative duties such as answering the telephone, typing documents, filling with clients. They gave the clerical jobs. They gave the petty jobs to the Indians by their English language teaching. This also produced a new generation to become slaves to the Englishman. It also produced a new generation slaves to the Englishmen. We discussed there were two sets of people among Indians. The first set of people thought to educate their brothers and tried to improve their material conditions. They started to educate their brothers and their generations in English language. They discussed to convey their grievances to the British Parliament. This English language teaching produced a new generation of people with more intellectuals, but it was not offered to all the people. By 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. By 1856, the British conquered the whole India. The Britishers never cared about the needs of Indians. People of India started to mourning. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our old jobs. And lands too. They are converting our brothers. By this time, Indian people had become more worried. Their kings were now being treated as puppets. They had lost their old jobs and land. Britishers were forcing some of them to change their religion. Indians were tired of talking and wanted to do something. Nearly by the time of 1856, the Britishers had acquired all parts of India. What was the language of education in India in the British period? Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit language. How much they cared about the needs of our Indians? They cared little about the needs of Indians. During the period of 1855 to 57, it was a big spark to our Indians. During the period of 1855 to 57, it was a big spark to our Indians. I think you know a sparkle from a fire. Like that, great intense feeling aroused among our Indians. Taxes continued to ruin the peasants. You know peasants? A poor smallholder or agricultural labor of a low social status. Peasants means low social status, like a poor smallholder or agricultural laborer. Yes, they ruined the peasants by continued their taxes. In Bengal, the Santals, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. In Bengal, the Santals, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. Do you know Santals? They are a member of a large native group living people. They lived mainly in eastern India. They lost their lands because of new land rules and they became desperate, feeling hopeless situation, so bad as to be impossible to deal with that situation, that is desperate. As a result, in 1855, they rose in rebellion and massacred Europeans and their supporters alike. The ever-increasing taxes continued the peasants to pressurize them and worsen their financial situation. In 1855, they launched a rebellion. Rebellion means an act of armed resistance to an established government. They aroused a rebellion and they massacred Europeans. They aroused rebellion and massacred Europeans. Massacred, they killed a large number of European people. Discontent was brewing in the East India Company's army too. Discontent means dissatisfaction. Brewing, E-W-I-N-G. Something is about to happen. Dissatisfaction happened also in East India Company's army. Dissatisfaction happened also in East India Company's army because the white soldiers gets huge pay, mansions to live in servants. Yes, the white soldiers get huge pay and mansions to live. But the Indians get a pittance and slow promotions. Pittance means only very small or inadequate amount of money. Pittance means only very small or inadequate amount of money. Indians also got only slow promotions. And also Angus asked us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is the Topiwala to abolish our old age customs? Indian people got angry against the Topiwala. You know Angus? A-N-G-R-E-Z. Angus means English speaking white person. Do you know Angus? A-N-G-R-E-Z. Angus means English speaking white person. They asked our Indians to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Topiwalas abolished our old age customs. Topiwalas tried to abolish our old age customs. Topiwala is a surname. It is a name of Islamic Persian or Muslim Persians. They tried to abolish our customs. Indians decided to drive out the Angras. At that time, thousands of other sepoys revolted. Revolted means took violent action against an established government or ruler. They were stripped of their uniforms. Yes, they removed all coverings of accessories of fittings and humiliated and put in irons. This is how they revolted. Around thousands of sepoys like Mangal Pandey took violent action against the British but were only robbed of their uniform in turn to make the sepoys feel humiliated. Few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian customs or the people's minds. Oh, proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to bite is made from the fat of cows and pigs. What? They felt that the white man had deceived them. Some of the Englishmen began to understand how Indian thoughts, how their mind works and their customs. They told Brahmin soldiers that the bullet they were supposed to fight is covered with grease made of cow and pig fats. Soon after this all, chapatis were sent from village to village to tell the people that their emperor would want their services to fight the Englishmen. People agreed. They told, yes, all my village men will be ready. Lotus flowers were circulated among the Indian soldiers. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers. People shouted with patriotism, "Death to the foreigner." The nation stood against them with the support of us in the form of shelter and other help to the patriots. Can you guess what will be the next after Sparks? Yes, it is revolt. After the Sparks, revolt started. Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. The Sipais marched to Delhi. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. The rebellion spread wider. The urge to free the nation from the Britishers continued to grow. The city of Meerut also experienced a violent outbreak. The Sipais marched and moved to Delhi to support their emperors like Bahadur Shah. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies and they were sold. The white man's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. They even got the support of the landlords who had also lost their land due to the new land rules. Yes, people were angry and wanted to fight the Britishers. This is the time to fight for our freedom. This happened in the year of 1857. Many former rulers like Begum Hasrat Mahal of Lucknow, they were bitter. They believed the white man has taken away their kingdom. They joined the upsurge against the foreigner. Do you know surge? Surge means sudden, powerful forward movement, especially by a crowd or by a natural force, like surging against the sterlite. It's happening in our state, no? Like that. Upsurge means an upward surge. Popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Faizabad told the people, "Rise, brothers, rise. The Angress is ruining our lands." The people rose everywhere in Barli, Kanpur and Allahabad. Leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Faizabad motivated people to free the country of all the Englishmen. People of Barli, Kanpur and Allahabad rose forward too. Former rulers like Begum Hasrat Mahal of Lucknow joined them because her kingdom had been taken by the British, thereby strengthening their power. Azimullah Khan told Tatya Top, "We should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as our leader in this war of independence." The patriots pounced upon the British and fought pitched battles all over North India. Pitched battle means a violent confrontation involving large numbers of people. Azimullah Khan expressed his thoughts to Tatya Top that they should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as a leader in this war of independence against the English people. Yes, entire North India came together in large numbers to fight a pitched battle against the Britishers, against the British people. 80-year-old Kunwar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. In this revolt against the British, 80-year-old Kunwar Singh of Bihar was hit by a bullet in the wrist, which he dedicated to Mother Ganga as an offering. These events clearly showed some glimpses of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857. You can understand from this lesson the conditions that led to the event known as the First War of Independence in 1857. Have you enjoyed this class? Yes. Always, it gives us the pleasure to read about the history of our country. I meet you in next online class. Take care of your health and be safe.